Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about the new IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation. Now, if you're like me, you probably had quite a few questions when this came out, wondering how does it compare to the CC cream, as well as didn't they have this before? Because that was my first thought. Going back maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when my son was an infant and I was up around the clock, some nights, at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I would flip on the TV and I would see infomercials for the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation, and it looked exactly like this. And then shortly after that, I started using the CC cream, and the claims seemed very similar. They both claimed to be full coverage, feel more like a moisturizer, and have skincare benefits to them. So I was very confused even back then what the difference between the two was. At the time, I actually went back and watched some YouTube videos because I was curious. I kept seeing this infomercial and I thought maybe this was something I could try, but I didn't want to get it if it was the same as the CC cream. And I remember looking up YouTube videos back then, and a ton of people had reviewed them both and said that they had the exact same ingredients line for line. So at the time, I didn't even bother with this. So when it came out at Ulta recently, I thought, that's strange. They already have the CC cream out, so it doesn't make sense to me. So basically, I thought I would just go through the ingredients with you guys and compare the two. I will demo me putting it on for you on one side of my face and then this one on the other, so that you can see if there's a difference at all, and I will let you know my final thoughts. So first, let's go through the packaging. They come in the almost exact same packaging, except the Bye Bye Foundation is 1 fluid ounce and the CC cream is 1.08. It's pretty negligible. The CC cream looks just ever so slightly taller, but they both have a pump applicator, which I really like, so they really didn't change the packaging a whole lot. The CC cream is $38, the Bye Bye Foundation is $39.50, and this one comes in 12 shades and the CC cream only comes in 7, so it does have a better shade range. I actually wear the light shade in the CC cream because the fair is way too light for me, but in the Bye Bye Foundation, I decided to try the fair light. At first, I ordered the light medium because it said it had pink undertones, and I was really afraid to go with one of their fair shades because I thought it would be way too light for me. However, this one is actually perfect. I love this shade a lot more than the light in the CC cream. It does also have more of a pink undertone to it. The light medium was way too dark, and I actually found that it looked very yellow on my skin. I didn't find that it had a pink undertone at all, even though it claimed to on the Ulta website. So when it comes to the shades, I definitely prefer the Bye Bye Foundation. I think that even though it's not a great shade range, at least there are more to choose from, and they do list the undertones on the website, even though they're not always right. So moving on to the ingredients, both are listed on Ulta, so I was able to compare them side by side. Unfortunately, I could not find an ingredient list anywhere for the Bye Bye Foundation that was in the infomercial. I looked back, and certain blogs that were talking about it or YouTube videos, nobody listed the ingredients, so I'm not sure if this has been reformulated or if it's the same as it was before, but I'm guessing, this is just my guess, that it was reformulated only because when I go back to those older comparisons, people said that it had the identical ingredient list, and it doesn't anymore. So basically, I put both ingredients in a Word document and I went through them line by line. I'll put it up on the screen for you right now so that you can see. The yellow highlighted area is all identical, so they're the same ingredients in the exact same order, and since ingredients are listed in descending order with the highest percentage first, that would make these formulas extremely similar. The green highlighted areas are the exact same ingredients, but they're in different areas of the formula. Some are listed higher than others. So, for example, niacinamide, hydrolyzed silk, and hyaluronic acid are listed higher in the Bye Bye foundation than they are in the CC cream. So there's a little bit more of those beneficial ingredients in the Bye Bye foundation. And also I highlighted a little section in blue, and that shows a fermented complex that's in both formulas. But there are actually 7 or 8 more of those that I could count in the Bye Bye foundation. Fermented ingredients are actually really popular in Korean skincare. They're supposed to brighten your skin and help it to look more youthful. And these same complexes are also in their Secret Sauce moisturizer that launched at Sephora not too long ago. So when you compare the two ingredient lists side by side, the Bye Bye foundation seems to have more of those skincare ingredients in there. It looks like it might be a little bit better for your skin as far as anti-aging and things like that go. But I don't know how much they really do, considering they are more toward the bottom of the ingredient list, and really the first like 30 ingredients or so are identical and in the same exact order, which would, to me, make these formulas extremely similar. I think that maybe they just sort of took the CC cream and added some more skincare ingredients into it, and that's how they got the Bye Bye foundation. So now I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in and show me applying the Bye Bye foundation to one side of my face and the CC cream to the other, so you can really get a good idea of how they cover. And I just want to reiterate that I am not, nor do I ever use any kind of skin filters, so you're going to see all my age spots in all their glory and really get a good idea of how these actually cover real skin. While I don't necessarily love showing my bare face, I will do it because I think it's doing a disservice to people if you're not showing exactly how it works. So I don't want to mask anything or try to hide anything. This is my real skin. I'm also just going to use one coat of each, one pump of each. I'm not going to layer it up and build it up. It does claim to be full coverage, so I just want to show what one pump of each would actually do. So first I'm going to go in with the Bye Bye foundation, and I'm going to be applying it with the IT Cosmetics Angled Buffing Foundation Brush. I like to apply these with a brush or my fingers more than I like applying them with a beauty blender, just because they are such emollient formulas to begin with. I feel like a beauty blender will shear them out too much, so I think you can get much better coverage when you're using a brush or your fingers. I tend to just use a damp beauty blender on foundations that are a little bit more matte, just to make them appear a little bit more dewy on my skin. But in this case, both of these have a dewy finish already, so I prefer using a brush. This definitely has more of a medium coverage. I would definitely not call this full coverage. I think it does a pretty good job of hiding my age spots and redness on my face, but I would definitely need to build it up with another layer if I wanted to get more full coverage out of it. But I do think that the color is a great match for my skin. It's the perfect tone and it just blends very seamlessly. And now I'm going in with the CC cream in the light shade, and this is actually a bit dark for my skin. I've always kind of made it work, but I was definitely somewhere in between fair and light, which is why I love the fair light color in the Bye Bye foundation. So any of you who feel like you are in between the fair and the light shades, the Bye Bye foundation fair light is awesome. I also don't agree that the CC cream is full coverage, at least in one coat. I do think that I can get full coverage out of it if I want to build it up, but I tend to not do that just because it starts to look like a mask or too cakey on my skin. I do prefer to apply just one coat of foundations and then go in with concealer in any areas that I want to hide that the foundation didn't cover. So when it comes to application, I think that these feel very, very similar when they're going on to your skin. I think the CC cream might have just the slightest bit more coverage than the Bye Bye foundation, but it also has more of an emollient feel to it, and I feel like this one remains tacky on your skin for longer, and the Bye Bye foundation dries down just a little bit quicker, which I prefer. But other than that, I think they both wear for the same length of time. I don't notice one wearing off faster than the other. I don't really notice a whole lot of difference between them. I think if the Bye Bye foundation ingredient-wise has more skincare benefits, that's something that I may see over time. I haven't been using it long enough though to know. Plus, as I said earlier, the first 30 ingredients or so are exactly the same in both of these, so that pushes the extra skincare ingredients in this one kind of more toward the bottom of the list. And as we know, since they go in descending order of how much is in the product, it's probably very, very small amounts, and I don't know if they're enough to really make a huge difference in your skin. I guess either way, it can't hurt, but you know, just know that I don't know that you're gonna see like miracles from switching from this one to this one. So my overall thoughts on these is that I think I prefer the Bye Bye foundation for a few reasons. One is the shade selection. I love the Fair Light shade. I think it's a way better match for me than the light CC cream or the Fair. So it's the perfect in-between shade, and I love that about it. I also like that this seems to dry down just a little bit faster. It doesn't leave my skin looking as shiny as the CC cream does, even though this has diamond powder in it and it's supposed to give you a little bit more of a glow. I find that this one makes me look a lot shinier than this one does, and maybe it's just because of the way that it kind of stays more tacky on your skin. And even though the coverage on this one is just ever so slightly less than the CC cream, I still felt like I had to go in with a concealer or build this up to get more full coverage. So it's pretty much the same deal here. Like for example, you know, after I did my demo, I went in and applied the new Makeup Revolution concealer to hide more of the dark spots and give my skin more of a flawless look. So with either one, I think you're still gonna have to either build up to full coverage or use a concealer on other areas that you wanna hide. And one last thing that I prefer about the Bye Bye foundation is the scent. It has a really nice citrusy sort of orange scent to it. And I definitely prefer that over the CC cream. I can't really place what this smells like. It does have like that little hint of citrus, but there's something else in it that I was never crazy about, so I definitely prefer the scent of this one. All right guys, that does it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that it cleared up a little bit of the confusion about these two products, and you can kind of make a better decision about which one you would prefer, which one would be right for you. So I'm gonna get going. I will see you guys next time. Take care.